Did you hear that? The silence. Sometimes, it's more terrifying than any storm. Because in that stillness, other sounds begin to rise. Not from the outside, but from within. It's the silent scream of the past. The image of an accident, a separation, a loss, playing over and over like a broken film reel. And you are the only audience member, strapped to a chair you can and appos, to escape. Science calls it post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. But for those living it, it's not a term in a textbook. It's an invisible prison. It and appos. It's a shadow that follows you even under the brightest sun. We and appos, VE tried everything. Meditation, therapy, medication. They all have their place. But why does that shadow still return in the dead of night? Why does the scar on our soul still ache when the wind changes? And this leads us to a profound question, a mystery that has haunted me for years on this journey. Could there be an ancient key, a forgotten truth, not to erase the memory, but to transform its power over our lives? Join me for the next 30 minutes as we search for that hidden lockbox. We are not just going to talk about simple Bible quotes. We are going to open a door, step into the theater of the mind, and uncover a truth that could change everything. To understand how to escape, we first have to understand the architecture of the prison. When our brain confronts a terrifying event, it triggers fight or flight mode. Everything is recorded not as a coherent story, but as a chaotic jumble of sensory fragments. The smell of smoke, the flashing lights, the chill down your spine, a cruel word spoken. PTSD happens when the brain can and appos. Close the file on that event. It gets stuck. And any trigger, a sound, a scent, can pull you right back in, as if it's happening all over again. Your soul is like that glass, shattered, and our first instinct is to try and pick up every piece, to glue them back together. But the cracks are always there. We get tired. And here is our first breadcrumb perhaps. We aren't and appos, the ones who are meant to glue the pieces back together. I'm reminded of a veteran named James. He told me that every night, he dreamed he was back on the battlefield. He wasn't afraid of the bullets anymore. He was afraid of the loneliness, the feeling of being left all alone in the chaos. He said, I can face the enemy, but I can and appos, face my own memory. Because in that memory, I am completely alone. Alone. Does that sound familiar? It is the greatest lie that trauma plants in our hearts. That in the worst moment of our lives, we were abandoned. But the Bible makes a claim that is the complete opposite. And this is our second breadcrumb, the presence of an unseen one, right in the middle of the storm. Let and appos, travel back in time. Imagine you and appos, standing on a windswept hill in the Judean wilderness. Before you is not a perfect saint, but a warrior, King David. This was a man whose life was steeped in violence and loss. He faced a giant, fled from a mad king, watched his own son betray him and die tragically. His trauma was real. His pain is etched into every page of the Psalms. He cried out in Psalm 22, my God, why have you forsaken me? He didn't hide it. He didn't and appos, pretend to be strong. He held all of his brokenness, his anger, and his feeling of abandonment at God. And here is the miracle. God didn't reject those cries. He listened. This act of raw, honest lament is the first step toward healing. It shatters the toxic silence of trauma. So what are our breadcrumbs? First, someone else is meant to heal the broken pieces. Second, there is an unseen presence in the storm. Third, raw honesty about our pain is a pathway. But these are not the key. They are merely steps leading to the room where the lockbox is kept. Now, we are about to cross the threshold. We have been asking the wrong question. The question ISNT, how do I escape this memory? The right question is, God, where were you when it happened? This is the foundation shaking shift. Instead of trying to run from the memory, we are invited to courageously go back into it, but this time, not alone. This time, we go looking for Him. Imagine that terrifying scene again in your mind. But this time, look closer. In the midst of the chaos, in the peak of the fear, there is a quiet figure there. Not to stop the tragedy from happening, for He honors free will and the laws of this fallen world, but to be with you, to endure it with you. In the screeching of metal, there was His silence. In the physical pain, there was the empathy of one who was also nailed to a cross. In the feeling of abandonment, there was the whisper of one who also cried, "Why have you forsaken me?" From that cross. He is not a distant God looking down from the heavens. He is immanent, which means God with us, not just with us in our joy, but especially with us in our brokenness. This is the final breadcrumb, the piece that completes the puzzle. Jesus didn't endapose. Just die for us. He joins us in every little death we experience in life. Think of the story of Daniel and Apos, three friends in the fiery furnace. King Nebuchadnezzar threw 3 men in, but when he looked, he asked in terror, "Didn't we throw 3 men in? Why do I see 4 men walking around, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods?" He doesn't endapose. Stand outside the furnace shouting, "You can do it." He jumps into the furnace with them. He is there, in the very center of the destruction, and transforms it into holy ground. Do you see? Your traumatic memory, that is your fiery furnace. And He was there. He is still there. And now, we open the box. The key we and Apos, VE been searching for. It's not a magic spell. It's a promise, recorded thousands of years ago by the prophet Isaiah. This promise wasn't an Apos, just for an ancient people. It is for you, right now, in your prison. Close your eyes, if you can. Let these words enter not just your ears, but seep into every cell of your being. But now, this is what the Lord says. He who created you, Jacob, He who formed you, Israel. Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. For I am the Lord, your God. And Apos, and quote, Isaiah 43 verses 1-3. This is the answer. The key ISN and Apos, TA technique. It's an identity. Your identity is you are mine. And a promise. The promise is I will be with you. This promise doesn't erase the fact that you did walk through fire, that you did pass through the waters. The scar is still there, but it redefines the scar is meaning. That scar is no longer evidence of your loneliness, but a testament to your survival and His companionship. The memory is no longer a monster that haunts you. It becomes a sacred place, a memorial, where you met the Almighty in your most fragile form. The power of the memory ISN and Apos, removed. It is transformed from a chain into a testimony. The journey of healing is not a straight line. There will be good days, and days when the furnace feels hotter. But from today on, you have the key in your hand. When the ghosts of the past come knocking, Don and Apos, try to push them away. Open the door, but don't face them alone. Turn and say, God, you are here with me. Let and Apos, look at this together. Show me your presence in it. Let the promise of Isaiah 43 become your breath. Write it down. Read it every morning. Record yourself saying it and listen to it every night. Slowly, that promise will become louder than the screams of the past. The light of His presence will fill the cracks in your soul. Peace in Christ is not the absence of the storm. It is the presence of the shepherd in the storm. Thank you for joining me on the Quiet Haven today. If this episode moved you, please share it with someone you think might need to hear these words. And I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share a Bible verse that has been an anchor for your soul in a storm. Every story shared is a torch lit for others walking in the dark. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't end appos. Miss our next journey together. Until next time, remember, you are never alone. Peace be with you. Have you ever stood before a shattered mirror? What do you see in it? Hundreds of sharp fragments, each reflecting a distorted, incomplete version of yourself. One piece shows your tired eyes, another, a forced smile, and so many dark pieces, reflecting nothing at all, only emptiness. The emotional scars within us are just like that shattered mirror. They are the results of impacts from the past, of words as sharp as knives, of events we thought were buried but that still ache with a familiar pain when we least expect it. We try to gather the pieces, to glue them back together with the invisible adhesive of forgetfulness, of denial. But the mirror is never the same. And we ask ourselves, can something that has been utterly shattered ever be whole again? Or even become more valuable than it was before? Over the next 30 minutes, we will explore an ancient paradox together, a secret hidden not in modern self-help books, but within the age-yellowed pages of the Bible. It is the paradox of the broken jar. Why could an ordinary clay jar, when shattered, become a weapon that brought victory to an entire army? Why could a precious alabaster jar, when broken, release a fragrance that stunned an entire room into silence? And the biggest question of all, why is brokenness, the very symbol of destruction, the most powerful key to our liberation from the scars on our souls? Stay with me. The answer might just change the way you look at your own broken pieces, forever. Before we can find the key, we first need to identify the prison that holds us captive, the prison of our emotional scars. It has no iron bars, no concrete walls, but it is real. Can you feel it? It's the tightening in your chest when someone casually mentions an old name, a certain place. It's the uncontrollable burst of anger over something trivial. It's that formless fear when starting a new relationship, always waiting for a familiar betrayal to repeat itself. We build defensive walls. We wear masks of strength, of being okay. I'm fine, we say. But behind those words is a child, huddled in a dark corner, frightened and alone. The Bible calls this state a crushed spirit. Proverbs 18 verse 14 says, "The human spirit can endure in sickness, but a crushed spirit who can bear? Who can bear it?" That's not a rhetorical question. It's a cry of despair. And the first step toward healing isn't trying to be strong, but giving ourselves permission to be weak. It's admitting, yes, I am not okay. My spirit is crushed, and I need help. When faced with broken pieces, what is our natural reaction? We look for glue. Some use a glue called business. They throw themselves into work, filling every waking moment so they don't have to face themselves. Others use the glue of distraction, scrolling social media, binge-watching shows, partying, anything to achieve temporary amnesia. And others use more dangerous glues, addiction, toxic relationships. In the Bible, the prophets often warned against dressing the wound of my people as though it were not serious. Peace, peace, they say, when there is no peace. Jeremiah 6 verse 14. This is the greatest trap. We mistake covering up the symptoms for healing the root cause. We are afraid to look at the wound, afraid to stir up the pain. But you know what? In surgery, a doctor must open the wound to clean it before it can heal from the inside out. Healing the soul is no different. And this brings us to our first clue in the paradox of the broken jar. Sometimes, for something to be made whole, it must first be intentionally broken. Journey back in time with me to a valley in ancient Israel as dark as ink. A man named Gideon is leading an army of just 300 men. They face an enemy as numerous as locusts, their tents stretching across the entire valley. The odds are a joke. Logically, this is a suicide mission. And what weapons did God give them? Swords? Spears? No. Each soldier held a torch, a trumpet, and an empty clay jar. Gideon's orders were bizarre. "Watch me," he said, "and do as I do. When I blow my trumpet, you blow yours. And when I break my jar, you must also break yours." Imagine the scene. In the dead of night, 300 soldiers surround the enemy camp. On command, they blow their trumpets in unison. And then, the decisive moment. All at once, 300 blazing torches, hidden inside the jars, were unleashed. Light erupted from all directions, trumpets blared, and they cried out, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." The enemy, terrified and confused, thinking a massive army was upon them, turned on each other in the chaos. Do you see? The light was there all along, but it was hidden by the ordinary clay jar. Only when the jar was shattered could the light shine out and bring victory. Our wounds, our hardened egos, are just like that clay jar. They hide the light and strength God wants to place in us. The act of shattering the jar, of humbling ourselves, of admitting our weakness and brokenness before God, is the very act that unleashes His power and His light. There is an ancient Japanese art form called kintsugi. Kin means gold, and tsugi means to join. When a valuable piece of pottery breaks, kintsugi masters don't throw it away, nor do they try to hide the cracks. Instead, they painstakingly piece the fragments back together using a lacquer mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. The result? The piece is not just restored, but the golden seams become part of its history, making it unique and even more beautiful than it was before it was broken. I believe this is how God heals our scars. He doesn't erase them as if they never existed. He transforms them into veins of gold. Every time you overcome a panic attack, that's a line of gold. Every time you choose forgiveness over resentment, that's a line of gold. Every time you use the story of your own pain to comfort someone else, that is a brilliant, shimmering line of gold. The Apostle Paul, a man who endured incredible suffering, wrote in 2 Corinthians, "But we have this treasure in jars of clay, to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. We are the jars of clay, fragile, breakable, but it is through the cracks, through the pieces mended with the gold of grace, that God's power and beauty are revealed. Your scar is not a sign of weakness. It is a testament to your strength and your recovery." And this brings us to our second clue. Brokenness, when offered up, releases a special fragrance. Come with me to another room, in another time. A dinner party is underway. Jesus is the guest of honor. Suddenly, a woman enters. History doesn't record her name, but it records her actions. She says not a word. In her hands, She carries an alabaster jar filled with pure nard, an incredibly expensive perfume, worth perhaps a year's wages. As the room falls into a stunned silence, she approaches Jesus, and she does something no one expects. She broke the jar. Instantly, a rich, powerful fragrance filled the entire house. This wasn't the subtle scent you get from opening a lid. This was the fragrance of a total outpouring. The fragrance of sacrifice without reservation. She poured all of it on his head and feet, and then wiped his feet with her hair. Some of the people there were indignant. Why this waste? They said. This perfume could have been sold and the money given to the poor. But Jesus said, "Leave her alone. She has done a beautiful thing to me." Truly I tell you, wherever the gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told, in memory of her. Mark 14. That alabaster jar was her life, her dreams, her hurts, her most prized possessions. She had kept it for herself, but upon encountering the unconditional love and acceptance of Jesus, she was willing to break it. That act of breaking was an act of complete surrender. It was her way of saying, "I don't want to hold anything back for myself anymore. I give you everything, all that is precious in me, and all that is broken." And when she did, the fragrance of her life was released. True healing isn't just about what we receive from God. It's about offering our broken pieces to Him, allowing Him to transform them into a fragrance for the world. And now, we return to the great question we asked at the beginning. Why is brokenness the most powerful key to our liberation from the scars on our souls? Because, through the story of Gideon and the 300 jars, we see that brokenness releases the light that was hidden. Through the story of the woman with the alabaster jar, we see that brokenness releases the fragrance of worship and surrender. Through the art of kintsugi, we see that brokenness, when mended by the hands of the master artist, creates a new, unique, and meaningful beauty. Here is the paradox of the broken jar. As long as we try to keep our jar artificially intact, we remain imprisoned in the dark. But the moment we dare to bring our broken pieces, our shattered lives, before the cross, the moment we find the courage to say to God, "Lord, here I am, a broken jar. I have nothing of value to offer, only these shattered pieces. Please, take them and do something with them." That is the moment true healing begins. King David, a man who knew devastating brokenness and failure, cried out in Psalm 51, "My sacrifice, O God, is a broken spirit. A broken and contrite heart you, God, will not despise." God doesn't demand your perfection. He awaits your brokenness. Today, I don't want you to leave this podcast feeling burdened by your scars. I want you to see them through a new lens. The lens of kintsugi. Every broken piece is an opportunity for God's grace to fill the cracks and create a line of gold. Your life isn't defined by what happened to you. It is being remade into a one-of-a-kind work of art. If today's story resonated with you, I invite you to do one thing. Find a quiet place, close your eyes, and visualize yourself gathering all your emotional fragments, placing them in God's hands. No fancy words are needed, just a silent, sincere offering. And if you feel this story could help someone you know, please don't hesitate to share this episode with them. It might just be the key they've been searching for. Thank you for spending your time with Soul Kintsugi. May God grant you the peace that comes not from an unbroken jar, but from the beauty of the pieces He has healed.